Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Okay, so this lesson, we are going to talk about anatomical terminology. So this is a very, very big topic, as we will discuss many terms. So let's not waste our time because this will take an hour long. So first, we have the anatomical position. So first of all, in anatomical position, our body is upright, standing upright, or laying down face up. So this is the standard positioning to know the different parts of the body. So your feet should be at shoulder width, parallel with toes forward. Then the upper limbs are held out to each side, which is here, with the palms facing forward. So this is what your position would look like if you would like to demonstrate anatomical position. So first of all, let's talk about directional terms. So first of all, we have inferior means opposite, opposite from the body, opposite or away from body or lower. So when we talk about the lower parts, you can just call it inferior. And when we say superior, when we say superior in real life situations, it's you're gonna think like it's way he or she is way up. So this is why superior in directional terms is going head up toward the head or higher above. So the head is superior than the hand since the head is above the hand, and the feet is inferior to the hand because the feet is below the hand. So that's it. Next is we have the anterior. Anterior means in front of or in the front, and posterior means back of or behind on the back. Pose um pose means behind, and anterior means in front. When you see like some ant, you're gonna see with your head that's right in front of you. So Greek mnemonic or something you call that. Next is we have proximal and distal. Proximal is the nearest point of attachment to limb or structure. So let's say this hand, this joint is proximal to you, and this hand is distal to you. Distal means the farthest away from the attachment of origin. Distal and proximal. Proximal from the word proximity. Proximity, like you're getting near of. You're near the proximity. And distal word shows up dis or distance. So you're at a distance, so it's farthest away. Next, we have superficial. Superficial or external means nearest to the surface of the body. Super surface of the body. And deep, I think you know that deep is inside or internal. That means the opposite. It's the inside of the body. As you can see here, liver is deep and the skin is superficial to the liver, since the skin is way more at the surface than the liver. Next, we have which away from the midline. By the way, midline is where your body or the symmetrical line to your body, and medial from the word medial or middle means toward the midline of the body. Medial, lateral. Medial towards the body and lateral is away from the body. Intermediate is between two structures. Now, since we're done with that, we have original terms. By the way, I'm so sorry if I'm taking this fast. We have limited time for this, by the way, so we have more slides to tackle too. Next, regional terms. We have the axial region, which consists of the head, the neck, and the trunk. Next is appendicular region, and um, these is the hands and your feet. So in the head we have some terms. Next, first of all, we have cephalic. This refers to the entire head. Since a quick mnemonic for this is cephalic starts with a C and ends with a lick. What do you use to see and lick? That's your entire that's your head. So, and when a baby is about to be born, they want it head down. So that's why it's called the cephalic presentation. Next is cranial. So that's the skull. It refers to the skull. Since we have what it called the cranial bone. I mean the cranium. The cranium. So that's the skull. A part of our skull. The cranium. So that's what we mean by cranial. Frontal, we have the forehead. So fore and front means the same thing. So that was frontal. Next we have ocular. It refers to the eye region. So what you use on a ocular, that you use your eye. Next is we have an otic or the ears. So if you have like an earache, your doctor may use like an otoscope to inspect your otic region. This is your ear. Next is nasal, which is your nose, which most of you will probably remember because of nasal spray. And nasal congestion is what we call stuffy nose. Oral means the mouth. If you want to take a medication orally, it means you're supposed to take it by mouth. If you're gonna have an oral presentation, you're gonna use your mouth. Next is buccal. Where's buccal? Here, the cheek. So that's buccal means the cheek area. Next is the mental, which means chin. Men have a bigger chin, so that's how you'll remember the mental region. Next is the occipital, that is the base of the skull. So in these we have what we call the occipital bone. So that's a quick what we know. But we're gonna tackle that in the future. So anatomy is connected overall. Next is cervical, that's behind the neck. I mean that's the neck region, so that's what the word cervix means. And the first 7 bones in your spine, which is located right here, is what we call the cervical vertebrae because they are the bones of the neck. Now let's go to trunk. So first we have axillary, which is these areas here, which means the armpit. So what we have what we call the axe, the odorant. So that's how you will remember axillary to make your axillary region smell good. Next is mammary. This is the breast region, and the female body has mammary glands, and that's how they would produce milk. And that's why mammals are called mammals because mammals breastfeed when they are young. So that's mammary. Next we have the sternal, so that is the breastbone. So that's the center of the chest. This is also where the sternum is located. Sternal, sternum, they're kind of the same. Next is the abdominal region or the abdomen. So ab or abs. So this is where your abs are located in your abdominal region. Next is the umbilical. So this is where your umbilical cord when you were still inside the uterus of your mother. So that's all of what we call the navel or the belly button. Okay. Next is we have the pelvic. Here, the pelvic or the pelvis. This is where the pelvis bone or the hip bones are located. Next is we have inguinal, which is the groin area between the pelvic region and the pubic region, which is here on our genitals. So if you are heard of an inguinal hernia, that's where the person's intestines actually slip through the abdominal muscles. Next is the pubic region, or your genitalia or genital region, where your pubic hair may grow after hitting puberty. Next we have uh yeah. Next we have um in our posterior side we have what we call dorsal, which is the back. So we talk about that earlier, dorsal or posterior or dorsal. So that is the back region of your body or your trunk. Next, we have the vertebral region. So that is where your spine is located, or this is what we have also the vertebrae. So that's where the vertebral came from. Next, we have the lumbar region. This is the lower portion of your back, where also your loins are located. So, yeah. Some cherry commercials here may talk about lumbar support. So it means that it will support this part, the lower part of your back. Also, we have also the bones here in our spine, what we call the lumbar vertebrae L1 to L5. Next, we have sacral. This is the near left of your buttocks. This is below the vertebral region. I think actually it's just right here, not all here. It's just right here. So this is where we have a bone called here the sacrum. So this is probably where sacral came from. Next is gluteal. So this is the buttocks, your buttocks. So we have large muscles here, what we call the glutes. So we have like a glute body region. Next, let's go to let's go to the appendicular region. So this is your arms. So we have the abdominal or your this is the bony part of your shoulder or the joint. So this is we have the scapular bone here, what we call the acromion. So acrobats tend to stand up on their fellow acrobats on this part. So that's a quick way to know acromion. Next is the brachial. This is the arm, your arms. So this is why most muscle have brachii in their name. We have the biceps brachii, triceps brachii, or the brachialis. So antecubital refers, oopsie, refers to antebrachial refers to the forearm region, which is right here. So brachial means arm, then anti means front. So that means the front arm or the forearm. So it's important to note that many people refer to their upper limb as arms, but in anatomy, this is just a part of the arm. Next is the antebrachial. Actually, here, this is the antecubital. This is the antebrachial. Next is the antecubital. That's the anterior or the front region of your elbow. So ante means front. Cubital means the elbow. So this is where nurses start making IVs in this location, but some nurses also call this AC or the antecubital. They say, I'm going to put an 18 gauge in this AC, just like that. Next is the occranial, refers to the back of the elbow. So the olecranon Is the process is the proximal part or the back part or of the ulna that makes your elbow, right? So this is the back of this is the acromion, the back of your elbow. Next we have manual. This is the entire hand. So our hand we have like manual work. So that's manual labor rather. That's why we are working with our hands. Next we have carpal, which is the wrist. So we have bones here. We have what we call carpals. So yeah, that's what it means. The carpal region is at the wrist, just between antebrachial and manual. Next we have is the metacarpal, which is below the carpals, beyond the carpals, which is what meta means. Meta means beyond. Next is the palmar. That's literally just the same. Next is the pollex. So pollex means the thumb, just the thumb, nothing else. The other four hands is what we call the digital. So digital devices, we use our hand, our fingers to use it. And yeah, next let's go to our feet. First we have the coxal. This is the side hip, the hip bones. We have also hip bones here that are called the coccyx. We also have cowboy where cocks a gun in his hip. So that's where the coxal region is found. Next is the femoral. This is where the femur bone is located. So that means femoral or femur or just the thigh bone. I mean the thigh part. Next is patellar. This is where the patella bone is located, the joint of our feet. And behind that we have popliteal. Popliteal. So yeah. Next we have the crucal, which is the front area or the inferior area. What is inferior? The front area of anterior rather, the anterior area of your leg. So when we play a game of cricket, they wear pads to protect their crucal region. Next we have the sural, which is the back of the crucal region. Next is the pedal, which is our entire foot. So we use our foot to pedal or on a bicycle, or we use it to pedal the gas pedal on the car. Next is the calcaneal rather. This is where also the calcaneus bone is located. So sometimes I'll get calluses on the back of my heel, but I think the word callus and heel together it sounds like calcaneal. Calcaneal. Next is we have the tarsal. Where's the tarsal? Here's the tarsal. Refers to the ankle region of your feet. Some people tend to switch tarsal and carpal. Okay, so carpal we use to drive a car, but tarsal is on our feet. Next is metatarsal, just beyond the tarsal. Meta means beyond. Tarsal is the ankle, beyond the ankle. Next is the hallux or the big toe. So this is like the thumb of your toe, but it's not actually the thumb. It's actually the hallux or the big toe. So when we're walking on a hall, I guess that's how we will remember hallux. Next, digital, just like fingers, it also sometimes refers to the toes. So it's easy to remember. Next is the plantar. So that's below our feet or the solar region. So we also have what we call the plantar warts that forms before on the back portion of our feet. So I guess that's a way to remember it. Next, body planes and sections. So this is an example. So we have four types of body planes, and it has like the acronym SOFT, which means sagittal, oblique, frontal, and transverse. So it's here. Sagittal divides it into two, and let's talk about it one by one. So first, we have the sagittal plane. So it runs vertically from top to bottom, from the start to finish. Start to finish, I mean from the top to the bottom part. That's the sagittal plane. If it's on the exact axis of symmetry of your body, it's what we call the mid-sagittal plane. Mid or the middle. But if on the, it's not this, then one of it is bigger and one of it is smaller. Like just right here, that is what we call the para-sagittal plane, which is the sagittal planes that are not on the exact middle. Next, we have the oblique planes. Oblique means something that is not right, parallel or a right angle. So we have it here. So it goes into a slanting position, just like this. Oblique planes. Next, we have the transverse plane or the horizontal line. The horizontal plane. So trans means across. So it divides your body from a top portion and a lower portion. Next, we have the frontal or coronal plane. Frontal, it means the front. It literally means the front, but it divides the body into an anterior part and a posterior part. Just like that. Next, we have body cavities and sections. This is a lot. This is a lot. We have the cranial cavity, which houses the brain, and we also have the vertebral cavity, which houses the spinal cord. So that's we have two parts of it. We have the dorsal body cavity. So the dorsal body cavity is divided into two different parts, the cranial and the vertebral. So we have in the ventral body cavity. So this is the larger cavity that is located in the front of the body, and it contains our visceral organs. So ventral contains the visceral, and the ventral cavity is divided into two parts, which is the thoracic cavity and the abdominopelvic cavity, which are separated by the diaphragm. So in our thoracic cavity, or what we call sometimes called the chest cavity, sits superior to the abdopelvic cavity. So it's located just right here. So it contains the organs like the heart, the lungs, the trachea, the esophagus, and it contains into three different portions. So first we have the left pleural cavity, which this part, which is the lungs, and the mediastinum, which contains the pericardial activity. Peri means around, cardi means heart. So around the heart contains also the trachea, esophagus, hymus gland. The right pleural cavity is where the right lung is located. Okay, mediastinum is also, it comes from a word, Latin word, which means midway. Next, we have the abdominopelvic cavity, which is this part here. So it contains our digestive and our reproductive organs, and it is separated into two different parts: the upper part, or the abdominal part, and the pelvic part, which is the lower part. So in our abdominal cavity, it contains our liver right here, stomach right here, the pancreas right here, spleen right here, the gallbladder, intestines, and kidneys. While the pelvic cavity, which is just inferior to the abdominal cavity, it contains the bladder, the reproductive organs, um, the distal portions of the large intestine. So remember how thoracic cavity, the lungs had its own fancy cavities called the pleural cavities, and the heart has its own cavity, what we call the pericardial cavity. But in the abdominopelvic cavity, there's a fancy name that surrounds most of the organs, which is called the peritoneal cavity, which is the three serous membranes. Okay, the three serous membranes, which we will tackle today. Next, we have the pleura, which is the membrane that lines the pleura cavity. So I think it's nice if we have here. This is the pleura. Okay, so next we have the pericardium, which is the membrane that lines the pericardial cavity, which covers the heart, and the mediastinum, from the word itself, cardium, pericardium. Cardio means the heart, so it's the line that covers the heart, while pleura covers the lungs and the thoracic cavity. Next, we have the peritoneum, which is the membrane that lines the peritoneal cavity, the abdominopelvic cavity, and many of its organs. Next, we have, let's actually have here. So when it comes to serous membranes, anatomists use directional terms to determine the location of the membranes linings. So the visceral layer of the membrane, which is here, this is the visceral pleura. It means that the layer touches the organ of the body, and the parietal layer is the layer that forms the outer shell. And the pleural cavity is just, by the way, parietal comes from a Latin word that means wall. So this is like a wall that surrounds it. And the pleural cavity is the cavity, or the cavity that is just between the pleura and the visceral pleura. Next, in addition, the peritoneal cavity, doesn't cover all of the abdominal pelvic organs. If the organ is behind, it is considered retroperitoneal. Retro means back. If the organ is within the peritoneal space, it's considered as intra, which means within. Okay, intraperitoneal. Okay, but if it's under the peritoneal space, it means subperitoneal, which means under. So quick recap: the major cavities and membranes. We have two major cavities, which is the dorsal and the ventral. In the dorsal cavity, it is divided into cranial cavity, which contains the brain, and the vertebral cavity, which contains the spinal cord, and the ventral body cavity can also be divided into two portions, which is thoracic or the chest cavity and the abdominal pelvic cavity. The thoracic cavity contains the left and the right pleural cavity, which contains the lungs, and the mediastinum, which contains the pericardial cavity that surrounds the heart, as well as other organs. So in the abdominal pelvic cavity, we have two additional cavities, which is the abdominal and pelvic cavities, which contains the digestive and reproductive organs. It also contains this peritoneal cavity. And finally last, we've been here for 32 minutes. Last part, we have the 9 abdominal regions. So, the 4 and 9 abdominal regions. So this is the 4 abdominal regions. So the intersection here is actually your navel. So that's like kind of the landmark that you will use to visualize these quadrants. And just take note that as you can see here, this is the left upper quadrant, but it's on the right. But actually, it's from the perspective of the anatomical position, not your perspective. So if you're looking like it's your body, you're gonna see your left quadrant on your left side and the left lower quadrant on your right side. The left lower quadrant on your left lower side. Just like that. So it for upper quadrants, it tells on its name. The left upper quadrant can be seen on the left upper, left lower quadrant seen on the left lower, and so on. Here are some major organs that can be seen in these. First, on the right upper quadrant, we can see the liver, the stomach, a part of a liver actually, the stomach, the gallbladder, the duodenum, the right kidney, pancreas, and our right adrenal gland. In our left upper quadrant, we also see some parts of the liver, stomach, the pancreas, the left kidney, right here, somewhere behind here, the spleen, and some parts of our small intestine. Next, on our right lower quadrant, here we can see our appendix, some of our reproductive organs, and the right ureter. In our left lower quadrant, we can see small intestine, large intestine. Also, you can see our left ureter, just like right behind here, and some of our reproductive organs. So, if a question is going to tell you, like, what part of the body contain all the portions of all the four quadrants, the answer for that will be the large intestine and the small intestine, as you can see here. And next, we also have nine, nine regions. We have the hypochondriac part. We have the right and the left side of it. Just as I told you, left side is from the anatomical position. So right hypochondriac side. So hypo means below and chroniac means the ribs. So just below the ribs, you can see your hypochroniac region. If it's on the right side, it's right. If it's on the left side, it's on the left. So next we have the lumbar region, which is just right here. So the word lumbar refers to the vertebrae in your lower back. So that's like the bones near this region. So we also have a left region and a right region. The left region and the right region. Next we have iliac. The iliac region also consists of the left side and the right side. So on the top of our hip bone here, we have what we call the iliac crest. So that's what where it came from. Okay. Next we have the epigastric region. Epi means above, gastric means the stomach or the belly. We have gastric acid in there. So that's why it's called epigastric, just above the stomach or above the belly. Next, we have the umbilical region. So this is where the center of this might be the belly button. So that's where the umbilical came from. The belly button came from the umbilical cord. Next is the hypogastric region. Hypo means the same as hypochondriac, below, and gastric means stomach. Hypogastric means below the belly, below the stomach. So, a quick mnemonic to determine what this is, we have Hector loves Isabel every unceasing hour. HLIEUH. Yeah, so just like that. Hector loves Isabel every unceasing hour. Means hypochronic, lumbar, iliac, epigastric, umbilical, hypogastric. Okay. Major parts of the 9 abdominal regions. So in our right side, right hypochronic region, you'll find organs like the liver, parts of the liver. We can also see our right kidney, the gallbladder, the large and small intestine. Next, we have the epigastric region. As you can see, we have the liver, the stomach, the spleen, the duodenum, the adrenal glands, and our pancreas. And our left hypochronic region, we have the liver tip, just right here, part of the stomach, pancreas, the left kidney just behind here, the spleen, and the large and the small intestine. In our right lumbar region, we have the descending colon, the small intestine, right kidney just behind here. Then in our umbilical region, we have the duodenum, the small intestine, our transverse colon, and this is our large intestine. In our left lumbar region, we have the descending colon, small intestine, just right here, and our left kidney, just behind here. Next, we have the right iliac region. Yeah, you can see here our appendix, our cecum, our ascending colon, and small parts of our small intestine. In our hypogastric region, we can see our bladder, our sigmoid colon, our small intestine, a large part of it, and our reproductive organs just right here. Left iliac region, we can see our sigmoid colon, descending colon, a small part of our small intestine. So that's it. Anatomical terminology, which is a lot. I hope you understand our topic today. Just, of course, I will give you heads up of our next topic, which is our last topic for chapter 1. Our last topic on chapter 1 is section 1.7, which is medical imaging. As you can see, just right here, section 1.7. So in that, we will talk about x-rays, CT scan, computed tomography. We also have we call the MRI, which is magnetic resonance imaging. We also have the PET, or the position emission tomography, and the ultrasonography. So that's it for our lesson. I'm not going to go back into our next slide because it's on and I actually made a PPT. So that's it. That's a lot. It took us nearly an hour to get most of it. So I hope you learned something. Lots of terms. You can take notes. Take notes if you want to. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.